This year, we wanted to recognize an exceptional company that's making intentional, widespread social impact. Patagonia is more than just a popular retail brand. Patagonia prides itself on being an activist company, having given more than $300 million to environmental protection causes.
Today, we are so excited to present BBYO's Stand Up Award to Patagonia, and specifically their CEO, Rose Marcario, for their commitment to social impact. Here to accept the award on behalf of Ms. Marcario is Avi Garbow, Patagonia's first environmental advocate. Previously, Mr. Garbow served as President Barack Obama's General Counsel at the Environmental Protection Agency. Mr. Garbow, it is an honor to welcome you today. AZA and BBG, please put your hands together for Avi Garbow.
There is so much possibility in this room. This is astonishing. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here with you all today, really on behalf of Rose, but more importantly on behalf of everybody at Patagonia, all of our customers, the environment, our grassroots environmental groups. I want to thank BBYO for the Stand Up Award. I want to start by taking you all back a little bit just to give you a sense of kind of what led both Rose to the company, but really our origin story when it comes to Patagonia's environmental activism. And it starts back in the late 1960s when Yvon Chouinard, a climber, a surfer, and a falconer first set up shop in a small tin shed near the Lockheed Aircraft facility in Burbank. And he soon moved his operation a little bit up the coast to Ventura, where there's a great surf break. It's where we have the old tin shed and really where many of us currently work. And it became the largest supplier of climbing equipment in the US. And the mainstay of the climbing equipment at the time was a piton, which you would hammer into the face of the rock. But the pitons, everybody found out, could soon damage the very mountains that Yvon and others found so inspirational. And so he began to pioneer new equipment called chocks to develop clean climbing. And in 1972, Yvon and the Chouinard Equipment Company put out what is now a bit of a famous catalog. And at the beginning of the catalog, Yvon so presciently said, "No longer can we assume that the Earth's resources are limitless, that there are ranges of unlimited peaks extending endlessly beyond the horizon. Mountains are finite despite their massive appearance. They are fragile." Yvon knew then what we all know now, that no business is fully clean or sustainable. Companies cannot ignore their impacts. They must confront them. And more importantly, if they fail to do so, you must confront them. So Patagonia began to take action, increasingly aware of our own responsibility and ability to improve the places and the conditions that we love so much. In 1998, we actually put out a pamphlet called Louder Than Words. It had no products whatsoever in it. It was really to answer the question, what is a rag seller doing on the environmental soapbox? And more important than what was in the catalog is what was on the back page. Patagonia back then and still gets a lot of fan mail. Some of those fans are not supporters, but they're critics. And we published on the back of that Louder Than Words pamphlet one of the fan mails that we got from a gentleman from Grants Pass, Oregon, who was concerned that Patagonia was supporting some forest protection groups working in his area. And among the other colorful language that he used was "stay out and stay home and mind your business." That's exactly what Patagonia was doing at the time. We're an experiment. We exist to present a new style of responsible business. And Yvonne always tells us that the cure for depression is action. But what we do is not enough. Many of you, I hope, have read Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. And at the end of The Lorax, the Onceler looks down at the young boy and says, unless, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares an awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. But care and compassion is not enough. If you are complacent, you are complicit. Remember, the heart is a muscle. It gets stronger when you use it. So you need to make some noise and agitate. Many of you are familiar with the words of Rabbi Tarfon from the Pirkei Avot, talking about repairing the world. It's not your responsibility to finish the work of perfecting the world, but you cannot desist from it either. Do not shy away from fixing the planet because the task is too large or others before you have failed. Who are you? You are the first generation to feel the impacts of climate change. More importantly, you are the last generation that can do anything about it. That's a lot of pressure. When Greta Thunberg sat before the parliament in Sweden with a small sign that said "School Strike from Climate," she was alone. She is alone no more. And before Greta, there were others, and after Greta, there will be others still. The world needs more noisy inspiration. You need to rise up in the morning, look in the mirror, and say, we are the ones we have been waiting for. I want to end with a quick story. When I was the general counsel in the Environmental Protection Agency under President Obama, I had an opportunity to welcome tribal leaders to Washington to talk about environmental issues. And one by one, those elders came up and talked about the environmental conditions on their lands and besetting their people. And after several hours, we were about to adjourn, but a young boy stood up at the back. He said, "My name is Skylar, and I have come from a place called Lake Michigamme." And he said, his grandfather told him to come, and his grandfather said, "When you waver, be strong." That's what you need to do. You need to do what Skylar did. You need to show up. You need to stand up. You need to speak out. And by the way, if you are always in your comfort zone, if you are always among friends, you are not where you need to be. Whatever the issue is, climate change, environmental justice, social justice, gender equality, LGBTQ rights, you must begin the work and take on the struggle. So I want to end where I started, which is this is a room full of possibility. Get out there, make some noise, and act up. So thank you again on behalf of Rose and Patagonia, and I hope you have a marvelous convention.